Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 554 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined by Stephen Kyle Brackey. He looks like a football coach right now in his red crew neck. Big football guy. And up in Wisconsin, Ben Funky Askren. Ben, how are you?
I'm just reading through some of the questions. A lot of times I forget to read through the questions from friends, before it actually happens.
Yeah.
And today I decided to scroll down there and check a few out. There's good questions, and hopefully we spend some time when we get to those.
We will. You will have an opportunity to answer the questions, Ben. First, you tweeted a little bit, but wanted some more developed thoughts on the Metcalf piece. What your overall opinion were?
Yeah, let's see. I thought it was really good. I like the back. Obviously, I kind of knew a lot of the background. You want to hear a funny story? Is Brian Smith was good friends with Roy Hall, and Brian Smith thought he had an inside track on Metcalf, which that's Max's class. And then I guess to the point that the video made the point, but it took like one call from Tom Brands, and then it was done.
How about
Damn it?
How about that dang the recruiting call from Tom Brands? You call a guy.
You think that was real?
Yes.
The guy was telling the truth, right?
Well, one, Brent would make that up. One. Two, you can't see Tom Brands doing something like that. I think Gable did stuff like that. He would do like the quick little phone calls. All right, see ya. You want to be an Olympic champion? All right, see ya. I feel like I've heard a story about that with Gable doing something similar. I totally believe it.
Yeah, it's definitely feasible. And it's funny how the teenage mind works, where, I don't want to say they don't really think about it all that much, but it's not like, there's a lot more things to, hey, do you want to win an Olympic title? Than just, hey, do you want, because anyone could say that on the phone, right? Because there's a whole bunch of American coaches who've had that level of success. But because he'd been primed for it because he'd been watching those TNT tapes that he was talking about with Roy Hall, which I didn't know that part of it, obviously. The other awesome Paul Donahoe, awesome connection there. He was at our duels last weekend. Man, that is a effing mature 10-year-old to be doing some visualization.
That's
with
what I was thinking.
That is like, oh my God, holy moly.
Yeah, that makes me want to talk to Paul Donahoe and be like, Paul, who told you about visualization when you were
seriously
8 years old, right? That's insane. I swear I had never heard of visualization until I started working at Flow in the sports. I just wasn't something, and now it's something like so many of the high level guys basically all do. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's freaking wild. How about that? They all were actually at Goodrich High School, and then they all actually went to Davidson. How pissed did that coach have to be?
Yeah, that's painful. That's painful.
Yeah, I looked. It wasn't too. It's only like 15 minutes away. It's not too far. But that they all started there, and then man, so I got so many points from yesterday. You brought up the thing where Lee Roper said, "Well, if they're 7, then they're good. Then they're always going to be good or something." Mm-hmm. Brent Metcalf didn't find the flyer until he was 9 years old. He said, "Well, I was 9 years old. I seen the little Goodrich mascot with the jacked up and stuff, and obviously he became relatively good, relatively fast. But then also on top of that, that means Chase Metcalf." Because he didn't reference my older brother had wrestled. Chase Metcalf, who would become a high school champion, didn't start till at least age 11, which I don't know what's that, 5th grade, 6th grade, somewhere in there.
Yes.
Minimum.
No, that's very. I thought about that as well. But it seems like Metcalf was one of those guys who had really early success, though, despite all that.
I would guess
there's roller pictures of him just looking jacked at where he was probably 11. He didn't look to be that young.
I guess he didn't get into it, but I would guess he was just one of those really active kids who was just outside, who was rough, who liked, and that was obviously why he kind of naturally took to wrestling, because he said, I love the roughness of it. I love the self-reliance of it. So he's probably just one of those kids. I will tell you straight up, there's a couple kinds of kids that come into a wrestling academy who have never wrestled, right? There's the kid who's really soft. He's probably been playing video games his whole life. And that doesn't mean that they can't be successful. I've had a few of them be successful, right? But it's going to take a long time. And then there's sometimes that kid who's just He's just strong. He's rough. He's probably been roughing out some of his friends on the playground and just kind of outside active. Dude, you get him to pick up a few moves, they can be successful really quick.
Yes. No, that makes sense. Something I've seen as well.
Hey, how about the Mark Hall thing?
Yeah. So we didn't like label the picture or anything, but there's a picture of, and it circulated a decent bit of Brent and Chase Metcalf with a very young Mark Hall between them, and I think those two had Chase and Mark had a particularly close relationship. He coached Mark as a youth. Of course, Mark originally from Michigan, that area. That Davison, I believe, is like the Flint, Michigan area.
It's a little farther north.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
That's where Mark's from. So that was pretty fun. Not everyone knew that was Mark Hall in that picture, but yes, if you watch that young man in the middle was Mark. So that's pretty cool.
Wow. I mean, because he had to be. Well, I did the math on it. I'm like, that's Mark Hall. And I'm like, wait, does the math work out? And I had to do the math on all their ages. I'm like, yeah, I get, it's got to be close, right? And then I texted you to make sure that I was right. That was awesome. You know what? It brought back some really good memories for me because the Senior Nationals I was in that same venue in Cleveland. I don't know if you've ever been there. No. I don't remember what it's called right now, but that was so both Chase and Brent wrestled in that venue. I actually thought Chase was 1 year younger than me. I thought he was the same grade as CP, who was a 2003 high school grad. But then obviously he wrestled Daryl Vasquez, and that was when only seniors could wrestle in that event. So, it was a big deal for us. So he was my graduate class. He beat Daryl Vasquez, who was so good. He was 4-time Cali champ. I think either the first or second ever. I think he remember the first.
I think he's the first, man.
Yeah, he was.
I actually think he beat Jacob Palomino. I think Jacob Palomino for his fourth year before, so 2001, and Vasquez beat him to stop him from going for 4, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, interesting stuff there. Well, glad you enjoyed it. Oh, we got that picture.
Yep.
Chase on the left, Brent on the right, and young Mark Hall right there in the middle. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, so at this point, he's probably, my guess, Mark Hall's what, 7 or 8?
Yeah, that's how old he looks to me.
Because I mean, I was guessing Brent's probably a senior high school.
I think he had only won 1 cadet world title at this point. And this picture was taken. So young.
Too funny. That's too funny. Let's see what other takeaways. Wait, hey, so I guess I'm fuzzy on this. Maybe you guys can help me. Dresser was not an assistant for Tom Brands, was he?
No.
He was
a few things he said. He was what?
Well, he was the head coach at Christiansburg High School, which is literally right there by Blacksburg.
It's right next. So did they do some? Because I don't know, the way he was talking about it kind of made it seem like that he had helped or he'd been there when Brett just got there or something to that effect.
Oh, I didn't glean that. No, but he definitely was not on staff. Maybe
he said something like it was gonna be cool to have like that kind of guy in the neighborhood. So I don't know if maybe they were like.
Oh, okay, that's what he said.
Because he's literally in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I like the Dustin. I mean, I think it's just really interesting that Dustin and CP versus Chase and Brent. I thought that was cool. The Medina High School. I never knew that story.
That was awesome.
I didn't know anything about
that. That was 2, huh?
Yeah. Look, well, I mean,
that was probably 2.
There's no clock, so who knows if it is or not. The question wasn't did the move meet takedown criteria. It was like
it was before time.
Right. Was it before time? So I don't know.
I just from hearing what the crowd sounded like.
The Ohio crowd, Ben.
Hey, sometimes you get away with one.
Yeah. That was funny. They went Buffalo Wild Wings on that one to extend the match. They just wanted to see more wrestling, which I think we're all in support of.
Yeah, and then obviously when we brought this up yesterday, but so one of the guys and Bader posted about this, but one of the other guys that Brent beat at Senior Nationals was Gregor Gillespie, who would go on to obviously win an NCAA title a couple years later. But I think it just speaks to the level that those guys were wrestling at as seniors in high school. And that was a time where UWW juniors wasn't nearly as popular, and had it been, maybe we would have gotten to see these guys competing against some of the college guys. But it's pretty obvious, Dustin Slater wins an NCAA title 11 months later, right? So it's pretty evident that they were on that level, and maybe we would have gotten a glimpse into that had we seen them wrestle at the UWW juniors at that point in time. But it wasn't nearly, people did it, but it wasn't like a big deal like it is now.
Right. Dake did a similar thing. He won senior nationals and then NCAAs, less than a year later as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So, no, I thought it was awesome. I loved it. Kind of trip down memory lane for me. So, really enjoyed it.
Well, good. Many others did as well.
Bader tweeted, too, that they did have their baby girl yesterday, too.
Oh, my gosh. So, literally on the due date, they had the child.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Big day. I wonder if he watched it.
I don't know.
You guys didn't give him advanced screening copy?
No, that thing was being edited up to the day.
Oh, so you almost did get fired.
It was close. We're within a week. it was a tight
so
one.
So Brent was just comfortable with you guys putting it out with before he saw it?
Yeah. Did you get an advanced screening?
I think I did by like one day, I believe.
Yeah. But I don't think it was for the purpose of like.
Far.
Yeah, but you trusted us. You weren't gonna like.
Yeah. Well, it was Mark Bader. You gotta trust Mark Bader.
Yeah. Well, I think probably Brent Metcalf reached the same conclusion. That's the whole point of these. We don't try to make anyone. We don't do a film on someone we're trying to make look bad. It's kind of like the whole point of them. Mm-hmm. All right. So glad you enjoyed it. If you haven't watched, we're not like gonna delete it or anything. We're gonna leave it up. Well, we talked about it. We're gonna leave it up on the site so you can still watch it. Though many of you already have. Hey, real wrestling news, more wrestling news. As we mentioned yesterday, announcement about juniors U23s. It came out yesterday, November 14th and 15th in Omaha, Nebraska, I believe they said.
Yes.
Very exciting news because, man, I think we're going to see a lot of really high caliber wrestlers. I think a lot of the big schools are going to send guys for match time for all the reasons we discussed yesterday. Now they have a date to train for. There's plenty of time to lead up for that. And really the questions become, who is going to enter? What big matchups are we going to have? And the biggest potential one I can see is one that I think Gable kind of teased. He's like, hey, I still am junior eligible. And we all know Kirkfleet, I believe, is still junior eligible. So could we see the match we were kind of hypothesizing about last week? Could we see that in November, Gable versus Kirkfleet? Because I don't think we're going to see Kirkfleet in the Penn State varsity lineup this year, probably. My guess.
I got pretty good rumors that Penn State's going to redshirt a lot of guys. I believe you guys have mentioned before as well.
Yeah.
But I've been hearing it also. But so what does that look like? Are they just going to forego? I mean, they're just going to say, do they think the season's not going to happen, or are they just going to say, as bad as we finish is whatever?
I think they're just going to be. I think they probably think the season's going to happen, but just like they did in the 2014-15 season, they're going to set themselves up for another run, right? Keep everyone's.
Well, let me ask you this, Christian. So then, like down low, Roman's got a red shirt. Nick Lee's got a red shirt. So if you redshirt those two, and I do believe that Robbie Howard, Bo Bartlett they're actually at college, correct?
Yes,
like they've enrolled at Penn State University.
They seem to be enrolled, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if you bring Roman and Nick Lee back, you'd have to imagine that one of those guys, obviously someone there's going to end up on the bench. Or do you wrestle them both as true freshmen? Do you wrestle them both and then redshirt next year?
They could. I feel like has it not been said that everyone can take a year and it won't count for their eligibility?
That was not for winter athletes. That was for fall right now.
Yeah, that's for fall.
Well, they'll have to do some juggling, I'm sure. But Roman could take some of these guys could qualify for Olympics. I don't know if that would apply to Roman, but like Robbie, his year could be an Olympic. Okay. About maybe Roman's. I think there's ways they could juggle it so that they're not impacted in that way. I don't see Robbie, Roman, Bartlett or Nick Lee having to sacrifice a year anymore. They're going to work that out. Whether it's guys going up, down, red shirt, whatever.
Okay.
That's my opinion. So, I don't think there's any way one of those guys has a bench year.
So if Penn State redshirts everyone who's feasible too, and this is who I think they can do. I think they could do the two we mentioned. They could do Aaron Brooks and Kirklet. Who else can they? I think that's it, right? No one else.
They can't do Beard. They can't do Starocki. They can't do Joe Lee. I think that's probably it.
I have Brady Berge, but I don't want to say he's a non-factor at this point.
Fleet, I don't know what the situation is with Kirkley. It seems like he's not enrolled or something different there.
So then it would be an Olympic redshirt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he could take an Olympic.
Yeah, he could. So I mean, without those four, how many NCAA points does Penn State score?
Yeah, it will be a down year.
I mean, Starocki will finish high, I would think. I think Beard could do okay. I think Starocki is going to be in the finals.
Yeah. You picked him to win.
Did I picked him to beat Kemmerer?
I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I think maybe we said Kemmerer's going to go up, and I think I picked him against Karchland in the finals or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that'll be a great match. Yeah, I think he's a top 3 guy as well. Beard could be a top. He could place. I don't know if he's a champion. I think 197 is actually going to be a pretty tough and deep weight class. But Joe. Yeah, this is maybe a top 10 team if they redshirt all those guys, and they could be in title contention if they wrestled everyone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So then Iowa just runs away with it, or is there anyone that's going to challenge? Because I got to assume some of Michigan's guys are going to redshirt also.
I think so too.
I was going to score.
There's not.
Could they set a record? Can they set a record?
That's the interesting thing, because if everyone is keeps their foot off the gas and then Iowa ramps up, there is a chance they could push for it. Now, would it be the best team ever? I wouldn't go there, but they could beat the record.
Christian. Okay, so I mean, the best. So statistically speaking, the best team would be the team that scores the most amount of points. Now, you could say obviously there's an asterisk by it because. What do you mean?
Well, just because you
statistically speaking, there's no way to compare the 2018 Penn State team and the 1987 Iowa team. You can't make them wrestle, right? So then you got to say, well, based on the same format, who scored the most points in NCAAs, and you kind of have to accept that. I mean, don't you?
Well, no, you don't have to accept it.
Why not?
It is the what? I mean, it's the. I don't know why not.
I mean,
it's like
Christian,
the ultimate sports debate.
You got a baseball shirt on. If one guy hits 406 and the other guy hits 390, you can't say, well, the 390 guy's better. He just had better pitchers against him or something crazy.
Well, the
right,
field,
you have to accept it.
The field matters. There's a lot of factors. I mean, I don't know. I don't think anyone thinks the 72 Dolphins are the greatest football team of all time. But they're the only ones that went undefeated. Okay, they're the only NFL team that went undefeated. They won all the regular season games, 16-0, and then won the Super Bowl. Very few people think that's the greatest team of all time.
Yeah, but in wrestling, you have this tournament at the end of the year, which statistically scores every single person on your team, and so it's a better aggregate. I mean, football, obviously, things can go a different way very, very easily.
Sure.
Like baseball. I mean, I brought baseball because baseball is very, statistics heavy, right? You have numbers. I mean, if a guy hits 390, he has 500 at bats over the course of a season, so you have a good idea. Kind of the same thing with wrestling. At the NCAA tournament, it's a very statistical analysis of what your team can do or can't do.
I agree. It gets you in the conversation, but I think once there's a lot of debate of what the greatest teams of all time are, and yes, they put up monster scores at the NCAA tournament, but I don't think it's. I mean, 97 Iowa has the record, right? And that probably is.
I said 80. I said 87, accidentally.
Right, but there was a team in the there's another Iowa team that's up there as well. And then, of course, you have some of the Oklahoma State teams are right there. And then really an interesting one is 17 Penn State when you consider they had Soriano. And there's a chance he could have won, but he was hurt that year, right?
Seriously.
That team was ridiculous. So I don't know. Anyways, if the field is down and everyone's sitting their guys, they're gonna have a much better chance at. It's kind of like the way the '84 Olympic champions are.
Yeah, it's true. It's fair.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
And everyone says, "Oh, he's an Olympic champion," but '84, right? That's like.
Yeah. So you wouldn't say that because the '84 U.S. Olympic team won the most amount of medals, that's the best Olympic team ever. You would never say that. So yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. You're right.
Okay. So do you want to talk a little about who do we think may enter the junior U23 mix? I kind of have.
Yeah. You know how we can Christian. Oh, I was thinking because you said we don't know exactly what age guys are. I was thinking if we went back, 3 years? So that's 2017 UWW cadets, we would know kind of who's in that age bracket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like everyone in that. I mean, obviously you could have someone added to that. You know what I'm saying? Like if they got better over the course of time, but there would be no one that would be too old in that bracket.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. I just pulled up the NCAA rankings. I think that would be.
Oh, we're talking about NCAA rankings? I thought we were talking about U20.
We are. But I'm saying if you want to look at like a pool of guys that we think could enter, that either juniors or U23s, would probably be them. I know there would be some high school guys or some redshirt guys in the mix, but just for the purpose of just coming up with some names. But yeah, go for it.
Well, I'm trying to find the U20s from 2017. I'm trying to find that. Oh man, is it on Flow Arena?
Yes.
It is. Okay. Well, I'm going to go search that.
Like when we see someone like Pat Glory enter the field, I'm just starting low and work.
We're talking about U23 or U20 because there's no way he's U20.
Yeah. Either. I'm saying either.
Okay. So what's that? Is it May? Was it May of 17? Right.
Yes, I think. Sometimes it's in.
Boom. Sometimes it is in June.
Yes.
It is not. It's not on Florida May of 17. So I'll go June of 17. Boom. June of 17. World Team Trials. No, this is the real World Team Trials. Okay, here we go. Results. This will be a fun look back. See who won too.
Okay.
Placers. Let's see. UWW Cadet Freestyle. The smallest weight class was Cole Skinner over Chance Lamer. Man, are they still wrestling? I don't know where Cole Skinner's at.
Nor I.
Sure that's not cadets?
There's cadets.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, so I'm saying at this year of cadet would now be, there's no way they could be aged out of UWW juniors.
I mean, it's 39 kilograms, Ben. That's ridiculous.
39 to 42. So that's 101 pounds maybe or somewhere in there.
Beast mode.
Beast mode. Yeah,
we need Kurt McHenry in the mix. Let's get out of 39 to 42 weights. Let's talk about guys that are going to be actually in contention for things.
Julie Tagg? Is he?
Yeah, Tagg's really good. I could see him in the mix. Mastro, moving up to 54. Robbie Howard, Cannon from Blair. Teskey. Camacho is someone I would like to see. Camacho of this field, I think, has advanced to the highest level.
Is he in this age bracket?
He's. I'm looking at the cadet freestyle.
What weight class are you seeing him at?
54.
Oh, cadet. Oh, you scrolled down. You scrolled down too fast. Got it.
Yeah, I'm not hanging in the lightweights.
Don't be a bully. What about Decatur? He'll probably wrestle in it, right? You'd have to think.
You would think so. He's absolutely outstanding. Andrew Alirez. How about this? How about Decatur tech to Andrew Alirez in the quarters? How interesting is that? Think how far Alirez has come. And he would be a guy in the mix.
Am I in the wrong year right now, Christian? Because I have Jordan Decatur at first place, and I don't see Andrew Alira's in the top 6. I have Decatur beating Manville in the finals.
I'm not looking at the places. Yeah, that's what happened. But look in the quarters. Look at the bracket.
Oh, in the quarters. Got it. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
Also, is this the wrong year? Because Keegan's oldest year, he took 5th place. So now I feel like I'm on the wrong year. Damn it. We're totally messing this up.
No, it was 2017. No, you're right, man. That's right.
Where's Keegan at?
I don't know.
Well, I'm telling you, he's the oldest age junior right now. This year in 2020, he is a junior, and which means he'll be the oldest age cadet, but he's not in this bracket.
I don't know. This says 2017. Goodness. All right, can we keep going, or should we just move on?
Yeah, we keep. I am totally dumbfounded, but we can keep going.
Bracky's trying to look at that. Sammy Sasso. I feel like,
Sammy Sasso is junior eligible this year.
Okay.
Yes.
We'd love to see him. Kevon Davenport, I would like to see. Gallagher
Teamer would be awesome.
Oh my gosh, Teamer. Is Brayton still? Brayton's got to be.
Yeah. He's a year older. Yep, he's out. Man. He's older for sure.
I'd love another Sasso Brayton Lee match. Okay, so we can see some of those guys.
Travis Willick beat Aaron Brooks. That's a big one. You see, but they probably won't be in the same weight class, obviously. No. Willick, if he competes, he'd be at. Would he go down to 74?
Probably.
You think, or what?
74. I mean, is there going to be a 79? If so, I could see him doing that. I don't think Brooks would do 79. That. Brooks would do probably 86. Peyton Robb, Will Luan was the final. Back there, Frantic, Gissendanner. What happened to Frankie Gissendanner?
Yeah, where'd he go?
I don't know. I think he went to Ryder.
He did. He went to Ryder.
But I think that was the end of that story. Kennedy. Keckheisen at 76. How big is he now?
Yeah. Pat Parker's wrestling. He'll wrestle 86.
Nice.
He's doing good. Yeah.
Travis Whitlake, Julian Ramirez, Aaron Brooks.
So Plott's not in any of these brackets, so I got to assume Plott's going to compete also, wouldn't you think?
He's definitely junior eligible. Is he healthy?
I don't know.
I don't know. How about Ferrari?
I don't know.
What was that?
I don't know. Did he wrestle any relevant matches in the last year?
No.
I thought he had an injury last year.
Well, I don't know, but he entered this one thing and just partied on a bunch of kids that are like not even. Where did he do that? He went to some tournament where someone as good as AJ Ferrari should probably not be, but he was just like destroying kids.
And by the way, Ben, Keegan was 5th in 2018.
So he must have 2. I guess Keegan's got 2 years left. I guess I aged him a little bit.
Well, yeah, that did sound sort of young to me. This is his first year at college, right?
Yeah, he's still a high school kid. I'm thinking he's in his first year of college because he's actually in college because we're wet. Oh my gosh, I'm a freaking mess.
Ben, you gotta get it.
Well, it's not my fault that they're doing the UWW junior trials in November instead of freaking April.
Very normal. Very normal. Lucas Davison would be a fun guy in the mix. Wow, Ryan Caroli. That's a throwback. Is he still at UNC? Did he ever go to UNC?
I thought he was at Northwestern.
No, he decommitted and recommitted.
He went to North Carolina.
He went to North Carolina.
I do not know if he's still there. He did make it there for a while, though. He's still there. He's still on the roster.
All right. There it is. Malvern, PA. 85 to 100. I don't know why it said that for this weight class.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that and they did that for 39 through 42 also. Yeah. I'm not really sure why they do it that way.
Daniel Gregory Kirkfleet. Yeah, I would love to see him. And then 125. Well, I don't know those guys. Jordan Ernest, but not to be confused with Jordan.
I don't know him either.
And Jack Del Garbino. I am not familiar.
Don't know him either.
I don't know a single top 7 guy. Maybe I've seen this Eli.
Oh, that's on you.
You know all these guys?
Jordan Ernest is an NCAA qualifier for a high university.
Oh.
So
For real?
He's a Bobcat.
yeah.
We
qualified for the NCAA championships. So.
All right. Well, I'm very sorry to Jordan Ernest, but not Jordan Ernest bros. Okay. I don't know if that was the best way to do this, but it was a way.
Yeah, we should actually had a list of who's going to show up, and that would have been much better. But we don't have that. Unfortunately.
If we had that list,
that would be awesome. Because usually, honestly, every year the juniors is one of my favorite events every year because it's like who's going to make that jump to the next level. Who is good at the high school level, but who's going to make the jump to? If you win juniors, you're going to be college good.
Yes.
So every year, that's one of my favorite events, and yeah, we got robbed of it this year, and we're going to get to see it here in a couple months now. So it'll be fun to see where everyone's at and who we get to enter that tournament. I have to assume it's going to be a lot of people.
Yes. We're maybe getting unrobbed of that. Excited. Hopefully people register, before, like 2 days before, so we can do cool content about it. But everyone thinks it's the most fun thing to just,
The high school kids usually get in pretty early.
Yeah. But the college.
Yeah, because the colleges just wait around and then
just wait around.
Put all their kids in at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on. That failed.
Yeah.
Let's go to Pac-12.
Huge fail.
Pac-12. Bracky, you're our college football news correspondent. If not you, who? What's going on with the Pacific 12 Conference?
So as we've talked a lot about, they just pretty much do whatever the Big Ten does.
It's so pathetic. Imagine whoa, what are you guys going to do?
So when the Big Ten announced they're coming back last week, all the attention turned to the Pac-12. And for the longest time, Larry Scott, the Pac-12 commissioner, was just like, well, it's all the local governments. They won't, all the California schools, they can't even have groups of more than 25 together and all this stuff. Well, then literally... But the Rams, professional teams have a pass. Like the baseball teams in California have a pass. The football teams in California have a pass. So when all the noise with Big Ten started happening about coming back, news from the governor of California was like, yeah, they got my blessing. The colleges can come back as long as they're following these guidelines and doing it safely.
Really?
Yes. But then it was like, okay, well, we have all these wildfires and Oregon wouldn't be allowed outside because the air quality is so bad right now. They wouldn't be able to practice right now.
We got the Rona and terrible air quality. Oh my god.
Yeah,
it's on fire.
So a few weeks ago, Oregon was supposed to play. This has been off for a long time, but if nothing would have happened, the schedule said Ohio State goes to Oregon second week of the season. Well, the game wouldn't have happened because of the air quality. They couldn't have played outside. It sucks. But anyways, so they have all these challenges. A lot of the schools aren't even bringing any kids back at all right now, for classes. So it's a total mess. They are supposedly trying to decide in the next week what they're going to do, but there's absolutely no way they can be back by the time the Big Ten is, which Big Ten's coming back October 24th. Because
that means their first game, Brad?
Yes.
Or does that mean their practice?
No, first game. They didn't, and that's kind of the big distinction is when their season got postponed, you were still allowed to practice 20 hours a week, and the Big Ten, every Big Ten school did, and was still working out, conditioning, everything. No Pac-12 school did, because a lot of them couldn't even have kids on campus, and even if they did, they couldn't have these workouts with more than 15 to 20 guys at a time. So they weren't doing anything. So a lot of their coaches are for us to try to be ready to go by the end of October or even November is just insane and not going to happen.
Yes.
I don't foresee them coming back until maybe December, but then at that point, is it even worth it?
Well, I just saw that I think I saw this morning the NCAA approved women's volleyball for a January start or something. That's the thing with these college sports. It's a little different than high school. High school, obviously, a lot of kids play multiple sports, but in college is relatively rare. So you can kind of just pluck them in wherever you want to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So big, be interesting. They're in a tough spot, and where they are in the country makes it even tougher. And
yes,
obviously, it'll have some impact on wrestling. To what degree, I don't know, but just keeping you updated there.
I mean, what does help is they will have they were actually like the first conference to announce the daily antigen testing. So they're gonna have that, and that's gonna be a key component. But they not only said no football and or no fall sports, but they were like nothing until January 1.
Right.
Which means they did that before anybody else. So they were saying no college basketball, which is supposed to start November 25th. No wrestling, no anything. Now, it looks like wrestling's not going to start till January 1 anyways, but they might reverse course on at least like the basketball version if they have this daily antigen testing.
Okay. So that's Football Digest. Let's go. Let's keep it with Bracky. Let's ride the hot hand. As promised, every Thursday from now until we discover the existence of aliens and have one live on the show come and explain their purpose, we're going to have an alien hour. What, Ben?
Bracky, tell me this. Wasn't the CIA going to announce like a month ago that the aliens existed?
We thought so. More than that. It was longer than that ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything within the coronasphere was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that's...
Sure, it doesn't feel like that.
That is literally how it feels. It was probably we'll probably look back and be like, wait, that was April? Shoot.
Okay, so today we're gonna do one that is kind of native around here to Texas.
Close to home.
Maybe not native, but has been seen here and impacted Texas. But Chupacabra. I feel like it's a good one. We haven't really talked about it much.
This is a classic cryptid.
Yeah, it is, and although it is a classic, it's really only been around since about the mid-1990s was when they first started being reported. And, of course, they started in Puerto Rico. And Chupacabra, of course.
He said, of course they started in Puerto Rico, as we all know.
It's common knowledge, you know. But Chupacabra literally translate to, I think it's like goat sucker, because what happened was these goats in Puerto Rico just started being attacked by some kind of animal, and they had puncture marks, but their bodies were still there. Like none of the meat was eaten, and yes, there's no blood. It's just puncture marks. The body's still there, and I watched an episode of Monster Quest to kind of refresh my memory on
Chupacabra.
On Chupacabra, yeah, it was a show on the History
Monster Quest.
Yeah, it was a show on the History Channel, and they sought out to try to prove or disprove these urban legend myths, cryptids, and they did one on Chupacabra. And they're talking to a lot of these farmers. They're like, I mean, he's like, our farm animals get killed sometimes. That's what happens. But a lot of times, or most of the time, the body's moved. It's like we find it elsewhere. Like they take it, they move it, and it's like you clearly see something ate it.
So they're very big? Oh, you're saying when they're normally killed.
Right, yes. So that's why they're like, it's really weird that it was just left here and not taken away and no meat was eaten off of it.
Yeah.
So... And it's really weird. Tyler has a picture here because then stuff began.
Oh my God.
Stuff began to move over to the United States. But this is where it's really interesting. So the picture. Hold up. Stop laughing.
Stop. No, this has been around for a while. I remember my friend Jeff Faust talking about the Chupacabra when I was in college.
Okay.
That was a while ago.
Now the one on the left is what the one on the left is what the majority of people in Puerto Rico describe as the Chupacabra. Okay. But the one on the right is what everyone in the U.S. says it is, kind of like a dog.
That's what I've heard.
Coyote hybrid, right? The one on the left, I absolutely believe is just people sensationalizing this in Puerto Rico. But the one on the right is what people have seen here in Texas, and they've actually killed here in Texas. So that was what was cool about this episode of Monster Quest is they had three different people that had killed this dog coyote type thing.
Why don't they have it then?
Well, they do have it, and they had the stuff.
Body.
They took, and yes. Tyler has a picture of one of them.
What?
It's
Tyler,
not super.
Put it up.
You sure it's not from the Pokemon?
It's not
from the Pokemon.
Metcalf.
I'm positive.
What the heck?
Oh, what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a deer.
Looks like a deer
of some sort.
That's a deer.
That is not a deer.
That's a deer.
What are you talking about?
That's a white-tailed deer.
That's a deer.
What I like about Monster Quest is they took And the other two are kind of gross looking. I don't want to show those. That's the most like.
That's not gross looking. Oh
no, the other two are much gross looker than that. I don't want to show them.
Put it up.
Let me see the preview, and then I'll green light it or thumbs down it.
All right. Well, what I like about Monster Quest is they took DNA and like skin tissue and teeth from these 3 that were found and sent them to like university labs, and we're like, can you identify this? And so all of them were like, it's something in like the canine family, but it's not a breed of canine that we have on record. It is not. What do you think about those pictures?
We can show them.
Okay.
Well, let me see.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, it's so bad. There's another picture on National Geographic of a Chupacabra. If National Geographic's talking about it, it's got to be true.
What on earth?
So they're essentially like, this isn't a coyote. It's not a known canine that we know of, but we think it's in that family. And so they were maybe speculating it could be some kind of wild dog that maybe bred with a coyote. But the same kind of things happening is the farm animals are just coming up with just puncture wounds, and then the blood is drained out of them. But it's interesting, Chupacabra, not as elusive as like Bigfoot or Mothman.
Not even close.
Well, it sounds like it actually exists though, because
it does.
Oh my goodness,
it does.
Do you have this one that's? Hold on, how can I send you a picture? I'm looking. Go to. I'm gonna send you a link right now because there's a good looking one.
Put it in the doc
on this website. Okay, hold on. I'm putting it in the doc right now.
A good looking one.
It's adorable. Stuffed. This lady stuffed it and put it in like her house or something.
Oh, here we go. Now we got lady stuff. This would happen in Texas. I think Joe Exotic had like a Chupacabra cage.
Someone said in the chat that's a coyote with mange. No, it's not, because all 3 scientists were like, I've never seen a case of mange like this. Like when they had one of the lead veterinarian people at Texas A&M, which is a great veterinary school, on the show. And she was like, "This is not mange. I've never seen mange like this before." So, you're wrong, Jay Brasini.
Sorry, Jay.
So, Kyle, I don't feel like this is an alien or cryptid. I feel like this is like a real thing that exists.
Ben, all the things I talk about are real and totally exist.
Right. The Alaskan Triangle. Okay, Kyle.
The Alaskan Triangle is real, too.
Yeah, it is a real
People disappear and die, and planes disappear.
All right. Sure they do.
This thing. So wait, but here's what I don't understand. Of all the things they find this thing, I'm trying to envision the attack. And this thing just literally just bites onto a goat and just sucks its blood out, and that's it? It doesn't incapacitate it, or I still don't understand.
It just like gets in the jugular. It's always like in the neck area.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, Dracula status. All right, what do we make of this, Ben? We know Kyle's, is a little
I
off
think
the
it's a
deep
real
end.
thing. I think it's just an animal. I don't think it's
just an animal.
I mean, I think it's just.
Why is it baffling science everywhere?
Put the one up. I mean, it's just a new animal. We gotta have new animals at some point in history, right? The one. Yeah, okay. Tyler's getting the one that look at this one.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with that guy. Yeah, it's just like a dog. Just the dog that sucks the blood.
And a few people maybe speculated that because there's apparently a breed of dog called the Mexican hairless dog, and none of the ones that they had in Texas were that.
Were the Mexican hairless dog.
Really?
So they found some in Texas?
The Mexican hairless dog? They
tested
like
the 3 things that were killed that the people were saying were chupacabras. The scientists ruled out that those were not Mexican hairless dogs.
Dang it.
Yeah.
We'll never know. Okay. Well.
So I remember 2 of the cities in Texas. It was Pollock, Texas, and then Elmendorf, Texas. What was kind of crazy about it is they're not close to each other. Like Elmendorf and Pollock were like 200 miles from each other. So we got chupacabras in Texas, man.
Jeez. Keep your dogs indoors.
So
your goats.
They're expanding. They're gonna be in Austin in no time.
I know. Yep.
Probably not. And I think we're only allowing Californians move to Austin now at this point. That's about all that comes here. People are very excited that Joe Rogan's here now, Ben. They think that we're going to be able to, like, bust into
collab?
Yeah, like he would collab
I bet
with us.
Joe believes in chupacabras, for sure.
Well, for sure.
He should.
For sure. I mean, he's got that one really strange stuffed. I don't even know what you would call it. You guys know what I'm talking about? It's like a werewolf thing.
Looks demonic.
I actually just had another really big time podcaster tell me that he's not from California, but he told another large city and told me he's thinking about moving to Austin.
Who's that?
You guys I don't know if I'm supposed to tell his private business on the radio.
I will not. Yeah. Bracky, will you tell anyone? I'm not gonna tell anyone. You can text me after the show, man.
Austin seems like it's gonna get too crowded, though. I mean, you guys are just gonna. It's already so busy with the traffic, congestion. Man,
traffic's not that bad. That's a bigger urban myth than the Chupacabra.
Whatever. Austin traffic, that's almost as bad as.
Well, it's not like Manitowoc.
Jakarta, Indonesia.
No, come on. It's not that bad.
I heard on a radio commercial, and it could have just been whatever this commercial was, just making this up, but they claimed 100 people move here every 10 minutes.
100 every 10 minutes. So how many?
I heard it was every day.
600 an hour. That would be like 12,000 per day.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Possible.
12,000 people a day? No, that is not possible.
Well, hold on. Let me do the math on this. How many?
That seems possible to me, man.
12,000 a day?
That seems possible.
No. To Austin? No.
Yeah, you're right. That's 4.3 million a year. Good call.
It's not happening, guys.
I don't know, man. Have you seen Mopac in 35?
Yeah. There's not 4.3 million new people there a year. The traffic has not gotten worse since I've been here. I moved here in 2016.
Maybe it was 100 a day.
Yeah, maybe.
That just doesn't sound like that much. I'm gonna go with 100 every 10 minutes.
100 every
100 a day is only 36,000. That's not very much either.
That maps.
Yeah, 169 a day.
169 a day. Perfect.
Nice.
That's a nice round number. All right.
Got it.
So that's that. You want to go to some questions, Ben?
I don't think we have anything else to talk about besides questions from friends. Is there any wrestling events going on this weekend? Because I don't think there is. What's going on?
No.
I don't know of any.
I don't know of any. I was kind of making sure I didn't forget something. No, I don't think there's anything going
on.
But
we have 2 weekends till who's number one. And then after that, we have the U.S. Open. So then we're kind of a little bit set for a while.
We're going to be cooking, brother. And we got the 8-man working on that.
Do we have any more updates there?
No updates there. But
oh, really? I thought you were going to give us another person today.
Well, me too.
Damn it.
That's why I said it.
Get it done. Jeez Louise.
I know it. All right. Oh, yeah, actual cannibal. I don't know if we should, we're giving an actual cannibal a lot of FRL playtime, but, whatever. He asked if he's our neighbor, will we force our way into Joe Rogan's studio? I don't think it works like that. Also, no one knows where it is. Ben could probably find out, though. He knows Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to become public knowledge at some point, doesn't it? Or I guess you can keep it a secret.
Austin there's a lot of things you could call Austin, Texas that are like not downtown, right? It's kind of
sure.
There's a lot of width. So,
it's huge.
Yes, it's big. So he could be somewhere in an undisclosed location.
You could do a property taxes search unless he maybe holds the building under a shell corporation or something.
We could go FOIA. Yeah, we could FOIA. Any problems we're trying to solve, FOIA is an option.
John Kozak said that Iran Premier League starting October 1.
Okay.
Oh my! Don't get me started on Iran.
Yeah, I have a hard time getting excited.
They're not in our good graces, John Kozak. Let's just say that much.
Let's just put it that way. Okay, here's an interesting question, Bracky.
Okay.
If a Domino's delivery person accidentally went to the wrong house and it was a Flow employee's house, which employee would be the most likely not to say anything and keep the pizza?
That used to be an easy question because it definitely would have been Nomad. For sure. Like 1,000%.
I think Spade would love a nice Domino's pizza.
Spade definitely would.
Spade seems like he's got a little bit of honesty to him. Like he might initially think it was a good idea, but then
he might just
he would
be like
take it and they would cop to it.
Yeah, I think he'd be like, I didn't order this, but I'll give you like the $10.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the pizza guy would be like, whatever.
I know who wouldn't. You know who would send them packing is Coastal Elite New Jersey's Mike Malanconico. He would say, mate, he is so, about his food. Mike Mal, very, very special.
Well, Mike Mal, he had Domino's issues, Christian. When we were in Austin, he ordered Domino's. It took him like 2 hours to show up after the freaking match.
I guess he did order the Domino's, so maybe he wouldn't. Wow, very relatable. Mike Malaconico. He has very fancy food taste.
Does he really?
Well, not very fancy, but he's very particular. He has
with certain items of food.
He has a good diet. He's very like, this isn't good pizza. You got to go to this place on wherever in New Jersey or New York, kind of thing. But he's right. New York, New Jersey pizza is better.
Very good. Yeah. Christian, what would Sion do?
Oh man, what would Sion do?
He'd take it, wouldn't he?
He would take it, not tip.
He would take it, not tip. then he would go to Domino's.com and complain about the service. Yeah, I don't know. I guarantee Sion would be like, I take it. All right, Brooks Wheelan, famous person. Long drive tomorrow. Any stories on who I think the most interesting wrestler of the '90s? Ray Brinzer. Do you know much about Ray Brinzer, Ben?
I don't know. I mean, I've had contact with him a few different times doing the Angry Fish Club, but I have not had any, in-depth knowledge of him or anything like that. Just funny stories is pretty much all I've heard, and then been talking to him a few times.
Yeah, the only stories that I remember, I know there's so many. One, he didn't like to warm up, and he would say,
"Yep,
wrestling's a martial art, and any martial art, you should be able to just do it at any point in time." So
terrible. That's terrible.
If someone attacks you on the street, you don't get to warm up. So therefore, it sounds like he just didn't want to warm up, and he was smart, so he just came up with a reason not to warm up.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, and then he would just as a kid, he would just bum rides to tournaments, and he would not have a coach, and he would sit Gumby in the corner. In between periods, he would look at the Gumby doll and act like they told him to take neutral or down, and he would listen to it. Those are the stories I know.
This is good ones. I mean, I think obviously I was not watching wrestling in the '90s, nor was it really feasible because it wasn't on TV or anything. But obviously the Brands brothers were kind of magnetic to a certain extent, and that I don't know what you want exactly mean by most interesting, but I would say who the most people are interested in, and they would definitely have to be very, very, very far up there in that category.
Yes.
Who else?
Okay. Who else was super interesting in the '90s? Well, we had a little Cale Sanderson in the '90s.
Was he more of the 2000s?
He was more of the 2000s, but we had a little in the '90s.
A little bit.
Who else would be interesting in the '90s?
We should have someone older come on and talk about this. Because this is a little beyond my era.
We're just a bunch of youths. Okay, next question. Is there public access to the registration database for senior nationals? I think
you have to have a USA Wrestling
membership
login membership thing, yeah.
Yes.
But if you do, you can go look at it.
Okay.
What was Ben's reaction to RBY's Jorge comment?
I don't know why this dude's coming at me. It's kind of immature on his part. I just threw a... my take was he kind of beat up on Desanto last year, so it was kind of like my comment was like a dumb high school kid, because when you post something on Flow, all they say is Desanto. Yeah. So it's kind of in that vein, and then he wanted to come at me. So then I threw Gabe tag at him because he couldn't even beat a high school kid when he was a sophomore in college. Yeah, come at me, bro. You know what? I'm gonna. I almost had a dagger, and I almost said don't talk to me until you have a non-high school level title, because he hasn't won a title at anything since he's been high school age. So then once he gets to be a grown man titles, they didn't come at me.
Well, it was weird because the Desanto match makes perfect sense. Like he had the weird one with them in Carver, and then they had the close match of Big Tens, and
he won.
That he won.
Yes. So I don't know why he...
And then he talked about... It's interesting because he talked about Desanto being one of his favorite wrestlers in the lead up to his match with Jack Mueller.
Yeah, you weren't dunking on him.
No, it weren't dunking.
Not at all.
You legitimately offered up a good match. And that was just a really weird response. I don't know if he thought you were trying to dunk on him or
But you can't dunk on him with the person he beat twice last year. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's not a good dunk.
So, yeah, that wouldn't be that wouldn't be a good dunk at all. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what his problem was.
I didn't understand it. Sometimes I think people just want to use the George thing.
I mean, and it's not like if you're gonna insult me, you could at least insult me with something. I mean, halfway intelligent. Like, come up with a Chris Pendleton or something to that effect. Like, I mean, my God, I've seen the George thing 5 million times by this point in time. It's not really offensive anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
But I did not intend to be insulting whatsoever in the beginning. It was just kind of like I was doing the high school kid thing where they comment Desanto to everything. In this case, it actually did make sense because of what we had, what we just talked about.
Yes. No, it made sense to me. I would watch that match for sure. I would love to see it in freestyle as well. Let's get Desanto wrestling freestyle.
I mean, I got to feel like freestyle would lead even more. That would lead even more towards RBY. You'd have to imagine. There's no really reason why you'd give Desanto a bigger edge in freestyle than Folkstyle when he's never really competed in it.
Well, there's one big reason. The edge. Go back and watch.
Because you push him out that much?
Absolutely. Watch their Watch their Big Ten match. He moved RBY around the mat the entire Big Ten match.
Yeah, but RBY could I mean, but obviously in Folkstyle, there's not really a huge rule against it. You know,
well, you said
there kind of is the stalling rule. That's fair.
I think I don't know if freestyle won. I think RBY would have a parterre advantage because he's really good on top.
Huge. Yes.
So I think that, but you know, I think from a neutral perspective, it gets a lot more interesting when he's not going to be able to float all that space without being punished. I think it's really interesting. I think RBY's definitely the favorite there, but I think there are aspects of Folkstyle to freestyle that help Desanto. There's also aspects that will harm him, especially if he gets taken down. If he gets doubled, blown off his feet for 4, that would be highly problematic and something he wouldn't have to worry about in Folkstyle.
Yeah, and then I mean the other thing with guys who transition for at a high level from freestyle to Folkstyle, especially high volume leg attackers, is sometimes they're not super adept at like the tilt positions, a chest wrap, crotch lift, those type of things. And sometimes they're, you can take them over relatively easy because they don't have a feel for that yet.
Right. That was something I think we saw, like Bo Jordan had some in the one freestyle tournament we ever saw him enter. He got head pinched a little bit, just shooting underneath, which Desanto would definitely shoot underneath, right? That's like his things.
High volume.
Should I register?
I think Bracky's gonna enter.
It's telling me to register.
Enter what? Enter what?
Senior Nationals.
Dude, right now I think you would medal. you would have a bye to like the semis at minimum.
Let's see.
Maybe Titan Mercury picks you up, dude. I don't know. If you shine here. Actually, did I say yesterday Titan Mercury's gonna register a bunch of people? Because they are. So that's gonna happen. Don't know who yet. Oh, here's one.
I would be top 7 at 65 kilos.
Easy. Who's that? Michael Jaffe. That might be a tough one. Luke Pletcher. I think you can beat Pletcher for sure.
Carter Young's in high school.
Carter Young's in high school, so you might be able to turn him like you turned Drake Ayala. So I've got you.
I'm top 6 at least. I don't know who Jesus Rosado is. I'm better than him though.
Oh my god!
So now I'm 5th.
Wow.
Raggy's 5th. He's probably.
I'm better than David Ortega. Now I'm 4th.
You'll probably be. Yeah, it's probably you and Pletcher.
Hold on. I have a serious question for you guys.
Okay.
It's not breaking the open. With the U20s, I was thinking about initially because remember that way back when they were going to be September 11th, and I was going to push a whole bunch of my high school kids into that event because there was nothing else for them to compete in. But now with them being in November, you're obviously going to have a whole bunch of folk-style tournaments right? The Super 32, preseason nationals, et cetera, are previous. So now I'm like, high school kids, I'm not going to really encourage them to go to U20s because we're not really going to be training freestyle at all. What do you guys think about that? Do you think some of the high schools are going to say, I'm going to try to make the U20 team? Or you think if it was 2 months earlier, the participation at the high school level would have been significantly bigger? What do you think?
What do you think, Braggy?
I don't know. Yeah, I could see that. I don't have a good read or feel on it, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel similarly. Okay. All right, here's another one. Maybe we can get him on FRL to yell at each other. How does freshman Kyle Dake do against senior year Brent Metcalf if he were to wrestle 149 that year?
Well, this guy's he's got the wrong year because it obviously be sophomore year when Dake was 49.
He said if he were to wrestle 149 that year. If he were to.
Why would he do that? Why don't we just pick a sophomore year?
Okay, sure.
Christian, the 141 Kyle Dake is not competitive with the 149 Brent Metcalf, I don't think. Do you?
Well, they're saying if he went 149 that true freshman year, how would he do? He was really big at the end of that year.
That's true. But do you think that one's competitive or no?
Absolutely.
Really?
He beat Reese Humphrey. Yes, absolutely. That's very competitive.
No, I feel like no. Dake's gonna. I'm gonna get a text from Kyle Dake in about 20 minutes. I feel like that's like a 6'3", 6'2". He slows Brent down, but it's not really all that competitive type match.
I think Top is interesting in that match. I mean, listen, yeah, I'm picking Brent.
Was that
obviously
2009?
2010.
2010.
Yeah. Man, he was really good on Top. I'm just saying.
Okay, so I think if you go, the next year's Kyle Dake at 149. Right? So you give him a year to age, and he's actually at 149, and you wrestle those two. Now, I think that one's really competitive. But when Dake, that freshman year, and even I would have a very hard time picking the next year's Dake against Brent Metcalf because he lost to Kevin LaValle, and he lost to
Donnie Vincent.
Oh, he lost two matches. Donnie Vincent. So it's like you're going to, as good as Kyle Dake was that year, he still had those two losses. You're going to take that guy to beat Brent Metcalf? I mean, Brent Metcalf doesn't have two losses that bad in his entire college career.
No, he doesn't.
Who are Brent Metcalf's college losses? Darian, Lance Palmer.
And that's the list.
And we just
Darian.
the list.
Yeah, Darian twice. That's it. I mean, those guys are amazing.
Yeah, four-time AA with
four-time
Palmer.
AA national finalist
and national champion.
Yeah,
so that's pretty solid list. Short list, but solid. Yeah, I think it's just funny because Dake loses every hypothetical match, but he tends to win all real matches. It's just a fantastic.
Well, this is not true, Christian.
It's 74
because Kyle and I picked him to beat Burroughs, which instigated the argument, and you made him lose.
Yeah, so you're welcome for that.
Oh yeah, that's right. I almost forgot that whole thing. Okay. All right, this is an interesting one. Maybe you'll like this one. From Kurt Arnoldson. Favorite takedown from the mantis position, other than the Stieber step over. And is it true Yanni told the kids at the Green Bay camp his weight for next season?
Okay, so first of all, the Stieber step over comes from when a guy's hitting a single leg. It was actually, it's not the mantis. It was actually the move that the kid hit that when I threw my crutches this weekend when he pinned him. That was the Stieber step over where you dump him and then you step. And Seth Gross does it really well also. So the mantis, boom, here. For me, it's not that exciting of a position. It's just like you just got to be good at going one with them, bounce, attack, shuck, and just moving a lot. So I don't know that I say I would have a specific move. And I was not actually at Green Bay when Yanni was there. I saw him in Mequon. He did a camp at one of our academies and moved to another academy, did a camp there. And I did not have anyone tell me that he said that, although I also didn't ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and chase that down.
I don't believe he.
Yeah, can you run that down for us?
The coach right now but I don't believe he told anyone his weight when he was at the Mequon Academy. I don't recall anyone asking though.
He going 49.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, that's what I would guess.
Jordan Tomey, Army West Point. Top couple of wrestlers you would not want to hit their most painful move on you, i.e. JB Double, Palmer Power Half, Stieber Armbar, Simmons Strangler, etc. I don't know, man. What are we thinking here?
I know the Marinelli chokeout. That'd be a good one.
The 3/4.
That is
terrible.
mean. That is mean.
Well, it's not the 3/4. He doesn't do a 3/4. He does that. What we call the defecator, which is way worse, Christian, because you jam this bone up along. You jam that bone up along their neck right there. So the 3/4 is more you wrap your hand, and you got to pull them down.
Yeah.
And so obviously against stronger guys, it doesn't work. It only works against guys who aren't that strong. Now the defecator, you dig more in with this bone here, and you dig this bone right along their neck, so you kind of choke them a little bit, and that's why they're more likely to go over.
Sometimes he just makes people just flip.
They just do flips over. It's terrible
because they think that's the way out because they know there's no other way out.
The only other way out is death.
Or crap in their pants.
Defecation. Defecation or do a front roll. Like Nomad out of a ball and chain. So, okay. That one is terrible. Austin Mays hit that really well. Also, it's kind of different, but he would do it without, you know how, the Little League practice and you got to scoop the leg, then you reach over, sink the 3/4. He would just get out to the side and just freaking crank.
Yeah. That's
ridiculous.
Why the defecator, you don't need the leg all the time.
Yeah. Because he's unconscious, and it's just so much easier to flip over a completely choked out body.
Do you remember the James Fleming
snapper?
The snapper,
that looks terrible.
F that.
That's your head is like this. You're probably not breathing. Your neck's gonna break. It's horrible. That's a really bad one.
Spencer's bars looked nasty when he was doing them to. It was 2 years ago when he was here, and the kid that was his partner. Every time someone would say, "Can you show that again?" He'd go.
Yeah, bars are tough. Oh man,
power halves are miserable. That was the Lance Palmer power half. That was a good one. That's miserable, especially now as old as I am. Dude, my shoulders would snap right in half.
Yeah, that one of the group doesn't bother me quite as much. I mean, one
really. Oh, that would be the worst for me for sure.
I don't know. Maybe I've just spent a lot. My little brother was a really good double leg power half guy, so I feel like I've had my shoulders cranked a lot, and I'll just go over. God. It won't be that bad.
I would probably cry.
Yeah.
I liked how Logan, he used to talk about this when he would run his arm bar and they would call potentially dangerous. He'd be like, just go over.
Just go over.
Just go over.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking from an injury perspective. Like, I'm not gonna get hurt in a power half. I don't think.
Really?
No. I mean, of the things, I don't think so.
Some people have the really flexible shoulders. They're getting ripped on and their arms all the way back here.
Yeah.
I do not though. That would hurt. That would hurt me. I'm pretty tight through here. Yeah.
Man, the armbar would stink. The strangler would stink. But the JB double, I think, could have the worst long-term impact on my life.
Nah, that's not. That doesn't hurt. I had to have it a couple times. That's whatever.
I don't think. Did you ever get? Deal. Hold on. Did he ever do the one where he shoots through your face and double legs you? Because he will do that.
Well, I couldn't get that low enough in my stance.
I know.
I
don't think you got the worst Jordan Burroughs double leg. He finished. He didn't. Did he hit a head and chest on you?
He was nice to you. He picked you up and sat you down.
Yeah. You look at some of these doubles he's hit where he shoots through. First of all, it has to hurt his own face, one. But then he shoots through your face and then through your chest and then through. I feel like he would concuss me.
Actually, one of the things I noticed when we did the face-off gimmick thing, I couldn't believe how many little chips he had in his teeth. And it had to be from, the impact of him shooting. It was like you can't really see it when you're far away, but when you were right next to him, he had a whole bunch of just little chips all over his teeth. It had to be from shooting the double legs.
Yeah, he shoots his face through the other man's face or the chest and then takes him down. That is terrible.
I feel like, no, that's not bad. Compared to a power half, I'll take 100 of them.
Oh my gosh. I am just.
Power half me, do not power. I would never let anyone power half me. I would start rolling and squirming. I'd be able to sneak my way out of there.
Man, you just have some PTSD about a power half.
Look at my shoulders. They don't go that. I mean, this literally hurts me. Doing this is painful to me, Christian.
Why?
Yes.
How did this happen?
He's going to get a bionic shoulder next.
I'm going to do some stem cell on my shoulders, I think.
You might need to. Jeez, Ben. I didn't know your shoulders were that bad. A lot of topic about
terrible
chips. Okay.
I could barely throw an overhand. I can get 120 feet and that's it. It's terrible.
What in the world?
And then it hurts. Then I'm like, oh, why did I do that? Oh, because I needed to get it close to the basket. That's why I threw it. But that was a terrible idea.
Oh, no.
Sometimes you got to sacrifice.
Okay, but like if provided you had regular shoulders, I don't think the power half would be as bad as a head and
sure,
face.
if you got the Gumby shoulders.
Are there any did Facebook have any other ideas for some terrible ones?
Well, Grady Forbes wants to know if the assassin hurts people, Ben.
I don't think so. You know, it's like a nursery rhyme. You know, it doesn't really hurt all that much, and then sometimes you just go to sleep.
Night.
Judson Mullen brought up a good point that Nick Simmons could be on this list for more than one move.
Yeah.
Like his spladle.
That's true.
Yeah.
Can I pick that? I might pick that. If someone did that to me, I might cry. I've never had a split. I don't think any time past like 8th grade, because I can't really remember prior to that, I don't think I've ever been hit with a spladle, but I think had I done, I would cry. Oh, I got a good one for you.
Yeah.
Okay, the spladle, I would cry. This dude, Kenny Robertson, I think it's the only time I can put him on my back my junior or senior year of college. And he actually won 2 UFC fights by submission with this hold. So I think this wins. He had this move where he would throw a leg right in, and he would cross his feet behind your butt on one leg, and he would come over the top. So you thought you were going to pull him under and pin him, you know? Mm-hmm. And so when I tried to pull him under, he grabbed my opposite heel and rolled through. And he had me doing the splits. Luckily, I'm very flexible that way, but it was really painful. If I didn't have a flexible hamstring, and he submitted 2 guys in the UFC with this hold. If I didn't have a flexible hamstring, I would have been in very much pain. But he got me on my back and scored 3 back points, and then I ended up pinning him the next period. But I don't even know what the move is called, but it was not fun whatsoever. And if I did not have flexible hamstrings, I would have.
That's not like the Bonanza split, right? Where he's cross body ride.
No.
Okay, nothing like that.
It's more. They have your legs go like, instead of like this, they go like this, right? They do that motion. So he comes all the way to the top. I mean, maybe you can look it up. I don't know what the move is called. The guy's name was Kenny Robertson, and he ended up fighting the UFC, and he won 2 moves.
2 matches.
Let's see if we can find it.
All right.
Okay. So this guy went face down when he did this. So look, he reached over top and then he rips their hamstring. Are you watching that?
Oh yeah, I'm watching. Oh my gosh. That's weird.
But he put you on your back that way?
Yeah, so I was more up on my feet, right? So I was like in a quad pod. And I tried to pull his head underneath, right? You know how you stack someone and pin him?
I can see.
So I tried to pull his head underneath, and when I did that, he rolled.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I would like Jordan Tomei's opinion here because he wrestled Logan Stever. I believe, was he one of the few guys he didn't like pin in there was something notable about Jordan Tomei's performance against Logan Stever. It would have been 12, I think, NCAAs. Okay, so yeah, certainly some terrible ways to get destroyed in wrestling.
Nope.
He got pinned. Yeah. in 420. Someone said he got smoked. Oh no, 119.
Jordan got a pin his first
in 420
match in 420.
Wow.
I think the other one, Christian, that I know way back when Max and I filmed the Ultimate Askren DVD set, I had to let Max do some moves on me, and now I would probably never let him do a bar in half. You know, when they run the bar in half. Yeah. Oh, I was just like, dude, let me out of this. This is so terrible. It was not good. Yeah, the bar in half is not fun whatsoever.
So apparently that move is called the Suloff stretch.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, he did that to me. It was awful.
It looks terrible. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad stuff. All right. Anything? What sticks? Oh yeah, someone wants to know. Bailey Brown, frequent question asker. As wrestling is coming back from COVID more, will we start predicting Tuesday headlines again? I think we should. I think we definitely should. Mm-hmm. One thing I was thinking about, Ben.
Tuesday headline, we just predict the amount of cases of corona the next week. That's all we would have done.
Ben, this story on him hitting that Kenny Robertson guy, the Suloff stretch, he talks about your match in there. He goes, I'd always get too high when I was wrestling. I'd just reach and grab the heel, and I'd get back points off of it, he says. Unfortunately, there were a couple of cases where I hurt the kid. Actually, I hit it on Ben Askren, and I was winning 6-1 until late in the second period, and I got too high and ended up getting pinned. That was my sophomore year, a long time ago now.
Yeah. So I chose down, and I pinned him the second period.
You chose down?
So he took me down. I think he's up 5-0. I don't think it was 6-1. I think it was 5-0. I think he took me down first, and he got that on me. And then in the second period, I chose down, and I pinned him, is what I believe happened.
Wow. You know, one thing I've been thinking, it feels like we've been doing this show together a while, Ben. We basically, you started in January. We got to do the show 3 months with actual wrestling. And the rest
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5, basically.
March 13th.
Yeah, March 13th.
That's when you texted me this morning, Chris. You said, we got nothing to talk about today. Well, what's effing new? What's effing? We haven't had anything to talk about for 6 months. What's new?
I know. It's crazy. Think how good the show's going to get a lot better once there's real wrestling going on, I promise. But thank you guys for sticking with us. It's just kind of funny. I just realized that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else stick out before we go, young Ben?
I thought there was one more good one that I liked.
Okay.
No, Yanni, we brought. Okay. Oh, the press conference. I think that could be fun with the 8-man press conference.
Yes,
I think that could be fun if you want to do it.
Yes, we should definitely do a press conference. That'd be fun.
Especially if you have them call each other out for the spots. Then we can, because those are easy lead-in questions. Like, hey, Kyle, when you guys did the bracket selection, you chose Christian first. Why'd you do that? Boom, and then you get them.
Because I'm going to score 1,000,000 points.
1,000,000 points.
No tech fall. Turn off the clock.
All right. Well, looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. Man, next week, who's number one week? We'll talk more about that for sure next week. It's going to be very exciting.
Hey, Christian, actually, so just
yeah, I'm prepping. I'm prepping hard. I watched a lot of Jesse Mendez, just a lot of 138 stuff. Jordan Williams is just a guy that can win that many matches late. Just there's something there with that, and I think he's immensely talented. I'm very excited to watch him. I like Mendez a lot, but I think it could be Williams. You know who Mendez kind of reminds me of? He's like a righty Desanto. Like,
really?
Yeah. He's like head down, in the ties, righty single a lot. He hits the dump, tricep carry like Desanto. The only thing he does a lot that you don't see Desanto do a lot is like he looks for his righty single reattack a lot, whereas Desanto's not really a big reattack guy. But if you watch the couple matches I've watched, he's like head down, forward. He'll wrestle a little bit from space, but for the most part, he's trying to get to his ties and go forward. So I think he's a really interesting guy. Man, Wyatt Henson, I think he's one of the best guys in Who's Number One of all of them. He impresses me as much as anyone.
I actually had to ask you about that weight class because on your rankings, and the guy was here this weekend, that's why I kind of thought about him. Joel Vanderveer, he's number 2. Did he not want to come, or what was the deal there?
He's in it.
He was in the 4-man.
Oh, he is?
He's the number 2 right now.
So he's awaiting the winner of Mendez Williams.
Hey, you want to? Yeah.
So he's got to buy?
Well, he was supposed to wrestle he was supposed to wrestle Mendez, but Van Ness got hurt, so he moves up, and then
So you didn't bring someone? Why you didn't bring anyone else in for him?
No, because it's not. I mean, what's the point? Those are the top 4 guys in the country.
Yeah, sure, that makes sense. That kind of stinks for them because none of them really have the opportunity to go to number 1. Then, since Shane Van Ness is not going to be in attendance.
Well, our plan is to get that match at some point.
Try to make it happen.
Get the winner of these 3 and then have them take on Van Ness later.
Yeah, I got to watch him and Nick Moore last weekend, both of my plays. I was pretty impressed with both of them. And then, I was really impressed with the Alec Martin kid, who I don't know what you guys have him ranked at the next weight up, but he had a good weekend also.
I know he's on the big board. He's on the big board going to South Dakota State.
Man, freaking! So I watched the Mendez Vanderveer freestyle match. It's just amazing. 14-11, crazy scrap. You watch their Folkstyle match. 1-1 tiebreaker ride out.
Really?
Give me a break. Yeah, gag me. Folkstyle.
Huh.
Come on. And that was a criteria victory, by the way. You don't get a point for riding someone for 30 seconds in Folkstyle. Totally fake.
That's funny.
Yeah, give me a break. So on that note, let's go. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Maybe one of the last weekends without like really consistent wrestling every week. I think we're getting there. We are getting there. We will bring the Tuesday headlines back. Very excited. Who's number 1 week coming soon? Hope you guys stay safe, have some fun. It'll be a beautiful weekend here in Austin. So that's it. Thanks a lot. Has been raining. Has been a little gloomy. It's gonna be sunny today. Have a good weekend, guys. See you next time. Thank you.